image with them is like right now Facebook is thrusting some ads on people, and I don't think people like that very much. But for example, when you offer a contest, which is easy and it's a lot of gratification, it works really, really well, and that we have seen. So I think those are my thoughts.
Thanks, Chetan. Any other questions? We have time for probably 2 more. Yeah. Sorry, could I just give the gentleman at the back, he raised his hand, please.
Hi, my question is for Chetan. We've attended a lot of debates before where there's a pro-Sibal, Kapil Sibal party which says that you should moderate it, and there's others who are more liberal. So the opinion is of course divided. So what I'd like from you is your outlook on how you perceive that Gen Y would move 2 years from now, because we know what's happening today. So
I guess you're talking about regulation of internet, regulation of social media.
that, and like some people are of the opinion that we should moderate it to an extent that I won't allow some certain kind of comments, or
Yeah.
that.
That's again a classic, for my view, is a classic case of people who don't understand it. People actually think they can control. It's like saying you can control people's thoughts. You can't. I mean, you control one thing. So technologically, it's impossible to control tweets, for example. Anybody can open any anonymous account and put anything out there. Firstly, it's impossible. Secondly, I feel, at least in India, we have a lot of things wrong in our country. But there's one thing, is free speech. Is very crucial to Indians. Some people can live without it. But Indians love to gossip. They love to talk. They love to give views on everything. You take any gathering. And social media is just an extension of that. Now, a lot of the gossip is nonsense. A lot of the gossip is crap. But you can't regulate it. You cannot. Yes, I totally understand someone may be offended by certain things out there. I get offensive stuff every day. When you have 1 million people, even if 1% people don't like you, that's 10,000 hate messages a day. But the government argues, and I was in another panel with Manish Tiwari and all those people, and they're like, people need remedy on that. Do people not have desire to have a remedy? There should be a remedy for people who have been hurt. Now, certain things obviously are not allowed. For example, defamation, false charges, things like that are, even in the normal law, those same laws exist. So you can't do it, right? You can't threaten, you can't do things, certain things. Free speech doesn't mean like you can tell people, I'll kill you. I mean, that will be seen as a threat, and that's a separate crime. But that's not a free speech crime. So, but not everything in life has legal remedies. Unfortunately, it's not possible. A lot of times we get hurt, but we can't have legal remedies. Maximum we have a social remedy. We can condemn. If someone is using it in a bad way, you can condemn it. But to put a law out there, and that too in a country like India where anything that can be abused, power that can be abused will be abused. And this law is obviously going to be subjective. What is offensive to me is not offensive to you, right? All those issues will come up, right? You had a case of 2 little girls being arrested for making a Facebook update as to why is Mumbai closed, and inconveniencing people. I think it's totally harmless thing to say, why are you arresting people on it, right? So it's ridiculous. So that is, I'm personally against any regulation. I also feel it's not possible to regulate it. And yes, you have a remedy, but you can condemn. If you feel that somebody's made a distasteful comment, you say he's made a distasteful comment, and we as a society agree on that. Many times we get hurt. If a boyfriend leaves a girlfriend, she feels hurt, but she can't get the boyfriend arrested, right? Hurt is genuine, but you can't have a legal remedy for everything, right? You can't have, when people break trust in anything, you can't, if it's just a verbal promise cannot be imposed in courts of law. People do it all the time. It's bad. Those are bad people maybe. But there's no legal remedy. And it's one of those things. You cannot do that in a country like India where people, the more you suppress, the more it's going to come out. Is this someone trying to regulate my mic or something? But the more, so I don't think I as a writer can stand up to anything. I do feel ostracization should be there. If someone says this religion is bad or this is bad, all those horrible things people say, you should say these are horrible things and he shouldn't say it. But to say that I'll block him and I will not let him say, and it's just who is this guy who's going to block him? Who are the regulators? Is it going to be the government? Is the government like very good here? They are very good at handling power? No. You'll have little kids being put in jail. I mean, it's just not, I think it's a law that has been written up too hurriedly, 66A, which basically gives blanket powers to the police to do anything. And it's very dangerous if we somehow fall into the government's trap and saying, no, no, we are only trying to give remedy. It's going to be abused against you. They will use it for their benefit and take away a very crucial right Indian apps. Yeah.
Thanks, Chetan. One last question.
Yeah, this is again for Chetan. So I guess social media has a lot of relevance in the entertainment industry. I never could imagine people being able to talk to Hema Malini or Madhuri Dixit. But today you have these actresses who are able to converse with their fans and take feedback. Well, that is happening. I guess it's also getting misused to a certain extent. People are planting stuff about their upcoming movies. I don't know how much of Kai Pochi would have been planted and how much of it would have been will be coming through trends. I was told even Poonam Pandey has a battery of people who manages her image on the social media.
Quite up to date.
Innovation. So, well, that is the first part of the question. The second part of the question is, how much of your ideas do you get from the social media? I guess you can see a lot of these sentiments coming up in the social media and possibly could be content to your to what you want to write. Like from an organization, from a paints point of view, probably I would want to see social media, what are the color trends which are emerging, and probably start forecasting colors which will probably rule the next year in terms of signages across, what is the type of banners that are getting used. Do you use it in that manner in terms of understanding the sentiments which are building up, and hence if it is gay activism and probably in 2 years you would want to write a movie on that or do a movie on that?
You know, it is used by the media a lot. Like actually, today our English news channels are slaves to Twitter, whether they'll believe it or not. Because Twitter has this thing called trending topics, and you can organize by country. So whatever is trending in India, very good chance that will be the news. News channels are no longer interested in reporting what is important. They are interested in, it's no longer news. It's a debate. It's not what happened. It's like, what happened and what do you think about it and what do you think about it? And I hope US also same, right? And it's only news if it's polarizing. It's not news otherwise. And it's a dangerous trend. But yes, news channels literally see what's trending today and let's make it the news or debate. I use it for my columns, not so much for my books. Because books require a lot of years of work and a book has a long life, hopefully. So you can't do it what's hot today, that will be the book. Book has to be more enduring things in society. For example, if there's frustration amongst the youth. Now that is not a trend on Twitter, that today we are frustrated. But it's going to be a lasting feeling amongst the youth, and therefore a book that brings that out will, I think, connect with them. So that social media doesn't help me that much in the sense, but it will help me see from the responses and things like that. But for columns, for mainstream media, definitely, you know, it is something very helpful. But are you following Twitter for Poonam Pandey or Hema Malini and Madhuri? The first is the Hema Malini and Madhuri, I thought you were from that generation. And then you switch to, but you know, why do you say it's misuse? If I am on Twitter and I talk about my upcoming movie, it's not a misuse. It's my fans have chosen to follow me, and they have for free, and they have chosen to find out what's going on in my life, and this is going on. So, but if you're asking that, can you plant things on social media, like in the sense, can you make things trend? It's not possible. Again, it's a lack of understanding. You can't buy trending topics. Twitter has a separate paid or promoted kind of topic, that's separate. But no, you can, you basically, if you do a contest, I've done contests with brands. I'll tell you one contest we did. It was a very exciting contest with Mercedes-Benz, which is a company I've worked with. You get a Mercedes for the weekend. So you have to tell your dream, what is your dream? And the idea was Mercedes is a very aspirational product. Make it like, if you want to do your own business, every businessman wants to buy a Mercedes one day, for example. So it was the contest where in one tweet, put what your dream business is, what will be its name, and hashtag it, and it started trending. And then the brand gave out 3 people Mercedes for the weekend. So they get a car, which is basically test drive car, comes to your house for the weekend, and then people's pictures in that car were tweeted, and it was a fantastic contest. So I don't think it's misused because everybody was happy. Even those people who didn't win, they got a chance to express themselves, that this is my dream, and their friends saw their dream, and then the other friends participated. So I think it was a good use of where the brand gains, the users don't get irritated, and they got the trending thing done. And that's okay, it's here to stay, whether you like it or not. And if I'm on Twitter and giving people funny lines all through the year when my movie's coming, yeah, of course I'm going to promote it. That is part of the deal. Because you're not paying me anything, right, to follow me on Twitter. So I think, and everybody does that, and I think it's a big boon for us. Like I said, I don't need to do newspaper interviews anymore. You only do it for like just visibility and maybe just to, but if you have to reach, you can reach faster on that media. And for companies too, you have to be there. For example, I can see Asian Paints, I can totally think of a contest. You know, send a picture with something, a beautiful color in it. And then Asian Paints hashtag. And then, you know, the prize could be something exciting. You come and paint their house for free or something. It'll create a lot of buzz. Right? And I don't think it's misuse. Everybody enjoys themselves. Everybody likes to take pictures and puts it on the phone. So that's kind of, I think, the future which will happen here of marketing, which sometimes may work better than an ad. Definitely cheaper, right?
Chetan, I've got a follow-up question for you. In the U.S., you talked about how it's only news if it's polarizing, and we have that, you know, very much so in the U.S. as well. And there's this interesting phenomenon that people are calling confirmation bias, where whether it's a Twitter site or even blogs in some cases where there's comments, little mini realities are created from someone that posts something that may not be completely true, but it turns into it becomes a myth, and it develops into a life of its own because all of these posters are supporting it, right?
Correct.
So there's a confirmation bias, and it happens both, you know, on the left and the right, conservative, liberal, and I was wondering if the same thing happens here.
Yeah, it is happening. And you know, these things don't come with a user manual. So people who just get in there and you think what's going on. So we have certain politicians in India who, like for example, someone like a Mr. Narendra Modi is quite a polarizing personality. Half the people love him, half the people don't like him. And he's ideal fodder for social media. Any article on him, any statement, he was just, I think he was supposed, some students invited him to Wharton. And they did it in a hurry because they didn't check. And then they said, okay, please don't come because it's going to polarize. So it was an invitation withdrawn. It's a small thing. If you think about it, it's a very small thing. Because it's a student body which invited. And it must be 3 or 4 graduate students. And they said, sorry, we didn't check with our board, and this is the issue. It became a huge thing on Twitter. It became a huge news story here. Everybody got sucked into it, and you think that is the most, important thing, and this guy has been rejected. And then it became, how can the US do this to India? It became that. And then it became the US is friends with and he's seen as somebody who's very radical, but at the same time very progressive, so it's kind of and then it's like the US makes friends with, I don't know, dictators, and they are not involved, and then, but this is what, and it became a mess. Now nobody knows the issue. It's just great entertainment. So I am kind of in a right foundation because I am from the entertainment industry, and I've realized that news channels are actually trying to make it entertainment. Very few channels like the BBC remain. We don't have a BBC in India equivalent, and it's crazy. Right now they've at least become a little better. They're reporting real issues. 2-3 years ago when they just came, they were reporting stories like, a snake gave out a gold coin from his mouth. In India, you have stories like this, and like a child was stuck in a well for 5 days. I mean, that becomes breaking news, and it has happened. There are channels. I think Fox in the US is like that.
Oh, well, yeah.
Even CNN. Yeah, it's and I feel sad for the new generation, the kids, like my kids. We still know a world without this. These guys don't know, so they will never understand reality. yeah, short attention spans. This is what everybody talks. This is how everybody